Please enter your authorization code now. Please enter your destination number now. Your current balance will allow you to talk for 13 hours, 26 minutes.
Hello, is Dan Rollman available, please?
Let me see if he's around. Who's calling, please?
This is Darryl Learie. I have a 1 p.m. interview with him.
Okay, let me have a look.
Dan, this is Darryl Learie.
Hey, Darryl Learie, how's it going? nice to chat with you on the phone. How's it going?
It's going all right. How are you doing?
What's happening in blustery Edmonton?
Well, it's well below -20, and it's freezing cold, and we've just had a lot of snow. And right now, I've got this on record, so this is a inline recording. So let's begin, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, let's tell the people who you are.
Sure. My name is Dan Rollman. I'm the co-founder and president of RecordSetter.com, the new home of World Records.
Well said. And could you give us a little detail of your interview filmography? Who you've been interviewed by and this type of thing?
Sure. Well, I mean, do you want me to sort of give a quick background of just what about RecordSetter?
Sure, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you know, I've been a huge fan of World Records since I was a 10-year-old boy in London, Ontario, Canada, and got my first Guinness Book of World Records, and just fell in love with World Records as this form of human achievement, and just a great way, to kind of show off one's individual and unique skills. And I'd always wanted to set a world record through my teens and into my adult life. And basically had looked into setting a Guinness record, but was overwhelmed by the amount of bureaucracy and challenges that came with setting a Guinness recognized world record. So I met my co-founder Corey Henderson and pitched to him the general vision of building something that was more like Wikipedia, something that was more open and participatory and community driven and based on the internet. So we launched what is now RecordSetter.com at the end of 2008, and it's been an exciting few years. And so to answer your question about interviews, we've been fortunate to get a lot of press coverage with what we're building, and that's included a bunch of segments on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, appearances on Tyra Banks' TV show, on CNN, on the CBC. We've been fortunate to have many opportunities to talk about RecordSetter and what we're building.
And for those that might not know, the RecordSetter book is also available in Canada in every Colson chapters.
So we had, we launched RecordSetter first with a website, but we've always had visions of expanding it into other areas. And at the end of last year, we had the RecordSetter Book of World Records come out, and it's available across North America in bookstores and online. And we really tried to make a book that first and foremost showcased a lot of the extraordinary human achievements on our website, but also served as a as a guide of sorts to people who were aspiring world record setters. So the book is filled with hundreds of what we call records begging to be set, which are world record challenges that haven't been set yet, to hopefully inspire readers to not just read about other people's achievements, but to say, yeah, I want to get involved and set some world records myself.
Yes, and who would you say are the biggest names in record setter?
Well, you know, we have a very vibrant community, and it's been wonderful to watch people evolve from just uploading world records to become more involved with one another, you know, whether it's friends on Facebook or using our record setter forums and email and so forth to kind of trade ideas and inspirations with one another. So, you know, a lot of the most prolific and recognized world record setters in the record setter community includes, you know, definitely Brian Pankey, who's set over 2,000 world records on our site, but also you, Darryl Learie, definitely have come into our community and wowed a lot of people with your physical feats. Doug McManaman and Mel Sampson from Eastern Canada, Peter Craig in Australia. You know, the list goes on. Mick Cullen, a lot of people here in New York. So, you know, what I find is just amazing to watch is the breadth of skills that people are exhibiting. So, you know, even with the people that I've listed, a lot of them are into physical feats, but, you know, we also are starting to see a lot more video game world records, and we have some people who are comedians and just use the Record Setter platform to do some really funny things. So from where I stand as the president of Record Setter, I'm truly inspired and amazed by every person that's submitting records to our site.
That's very well said, and I also understand that you have a contract for a second book in publishment. Could you tell us a little bit about how far you're into working on that and how that's evolving?
Yeah, we definitely will be doing more books and are excited to expand into other areas as well. We'd love to, you know, ultimately do a television show and continue expanding live events and so forth. We have not yet, you know, we're still kind of in the cycle of pushing and promoting our first book. So we haven't really jumped into production of the second book yet.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but were you not the pinball national champion of Canada?
Well, I always say that I was the top Canadian at the 1995 World Pinball Championships, and then I say with a laugh afterwards that I was the only Canadian who attended the 1995 World Pinball Championships. But yeah, you know, I'm still an avid pinball player, and probably was at the peak of my game in the mid to late 90s, and competed in a bunch of tournaments. I won a couple of local tournaments in Canada, and competed in the Michigan State Championships 1 year, and then yeah, it came down to New York and played in the World Championships in '95. Qualified out of a few hundred people to be in the top 20 for the Division C Championships, and yeah, it was a thrill. So I'm a big fan of pinball.
See, I've always been amazed by anyone that can play pinball, because I've always found the paddles just too damn short, and there's always that space, and I always figured, damn, if these paddles were just a little larger, a little longer, yeah, you know, I could keep that ball up.
Yeah. Yeah, part of the challenge is sort of learning to shake the machine. So if you see the ball is heading down between the flippers, you have to find a way to subtly shake it to get the ball in play. But listen, it goes. The respect for one's skill set is mutual, and you know, when I watch what you do, I actually tried to do a planking the other day and realized that you know what what you're doing and the kinds of records that you're training for and setting are involve a skill set that I don't have.
Yeah, it's just that's most likely because it takes one has to continually train and bring down their focus. It's I've typically found that the most impressive people on the platform, in my opinion, are those that have a focus of maybe 3 records tops that they continually strive to break. Just like Brian Pankey, who excels at juggling, rollerbola, and balancing. And then we have Doug McManaman, who excels at shooting. And if I remember right, he told me he once shot a hole in a dime at 50 yards. So I've never shot a gun myself. It's not my thing, but that sounds pretty damn impressive to me. And so, and balancing is the second thing that he excels at. And then of course we have Sean McDaniel, who's a fellow New Yorker, because you guys are based out of New York, right? And
yep.
And he has just such a powerful, concentrated focus on the back of the hand push-up. Yeah, this is his thing. I understand you guys just had a show at Joe's Pub, was it?
We have an event coming up next week. We've had Joe's Pub as our main venue in most of last year. We might be going to a new venue this year. But we're doing a special one-off event at a venue that's invited us next Thursday. That's going to include Sean McDaniel. I'm not sure what world record he's going to be attempting, but we've got Sean McDaniel and the author A.J. Jacobs and a comedy duo named Broad City, and just a lot of amazing record setters here in the New York area. We have the Brooklyn Juggler, who's a juggler that's been on Letterman before. So yeah, it's going to be a great event. I'm really excited.
And let's not forget that Brian Pankey was also on Letterman for his record that's gone like literally viral, the apple juggling eating. Which and so I appreciate what you mean by like appreciating like the specific skill sets, because I can't juggle a single ball. I can predict with almost 100% accuracy that if I'm in a baseball game, the one place the ball's not going is in my own hand. It's just something I don't excel at, So
well, and I think when I look at the big picture vision of Record Setter, and our core philosophy is that everybody can be the world's best at something. And I would say again, when I was young, I would read the Guinness Book and I would be amazed at all of these feats. But the kinds of records that I was reading about were not things that I ever thought I could become a world champion in. And so I love that the breadth of skills exhibited in the record setter community have such variety, and that I didn't even know about finger planking before you started submitting records to our website, and then we're seeing people doing things in the realms of juggling, and in the realms of video games, and in the realms of skee ball, and the list goes on and on. So it's just amazing to find all these extraordinary humans who just have skill sets that didn't necessarily have a place to live before finding our platform, or at least a place to be shared with others.
And I'd like to take this brief opportunity to also mention that I've aside from there are some truly phenomenal people on Record Setter. There's the b-boy girl that spun on her head for almost 13 minutes.
Cinderella.
Yeah,
Cinderella. She's amazing.
She made almost 13 minutes, and then there's another lady that did so many continuous backflips. What was it, 45, 47?
Something like, yeah, I forget the number, but that's another amazing record. Yeah.
And just recently, today actually, my very good friend Alicia Weber came onto the record setter scene for her 802 push-ups in 1 hour.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that yet, but it's on the site?
Yeah, it was just verified this morning. As she's a legend in the female portion of the push-up world. With
cool. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. It's, and we also have, your platform also has Charles Savizio, you know, who's in the 2012 Guinness at the same time, and Flavio. Have you seen Flavio?
I have, yeah. Those guys, and I know you introduced them, so thank you for you know, letting them know and inviting them into the record setter community.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I mean, I really want people to understand that there is like some absolutely like phenomenal people doing like really phenomenal stuff. You know, I just saw a record for the youngest university student. Or university
in India, right?
Yeah, that's right. And of course there's Dinesh Upadhyaya, and this I mean it's insane. So I mean this I personally from my perspective, what I really appreciate about Record Setter is that it's a beautiful medium to document my personal bests and have those weaker records of mine weeded out, and to test my abilities against the competition. You know, as if you remember, my first 8-finger plank was 13 seconds, and now
and what's it at now?
4 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. It's truly impressive.
Well, thank you, sir. I very much appreciate that. So, I mean, this is what I appreciate about your site, is that it's just a beautiful platform for one to train in, and more or less you know, find their greater potential. You know, is you know, some of my push-up records, you know, have been you know, broken by other amazing people. You know, it's but you know, so thus far, you know, I've really found my niche with the balloon blowing and the finger planking, and to have that documented there, you know, because with all the records, you have the entire history listed, right?
Yeah. Our entire database is open, so you can see videos of pretty much all the records that have ever been sent to us, and we now have we have almost 13,000 records that have been submitted from over 60 countries. So it's it's just a thrill to kind of watch each month as more people discover our platform and upload records, and I also feel like the quality of you know, people are making videos that look more professional, and also just spending a little bit more time and energy to try and raise the bar of human achievement in whatever areas they're into.
Yes, so especially some of the Rubik's Cube records are just beyond my scope. Yes, I don't know about you, but I couldn't figure out a Rubik's Cube if my life depended on it.
I have never solved one either, and I've even read those books that teach you how to solve a Rubik's Cube, and I've still never succeeded.
Yes.
It's funny how, you know, we all, you know, how in some ways you can be like superstars in some areas, but then painfully incompetent in others.
Yes, that's very true. It's so now tell us a little bit about any future projects you have coming up to do do with Record Setter?
Yeah, well, I think our number one focus, is and will always be making the web experience better and better for our users. We still have a very small team, and so there's, we have a list of 100 features that we would like to add to the website. If you set a group world record, we want to give you the tools so that every person can set up their own account and connect themselves to that group world record. We want to give more tools so that the community can be involved in moderating the records and getting involved in the editing of the rules and the debate of the rules. So yeah, we're really focusing on just trying to talk to the various communities that are using our site and figure out what tools we can build to improve the experience. And then, yeah, we love doing live events. I always say, hosting a live event is my favorite night of the month. So we had the good fortune with our book out. We had the good fortune of getting to do live events in a bunch of different cities. But we'd love to continue doing more live events. And then probably the big focus that we have offline is preparing for the first ever RecordSetter-World Record Day, which is going to be held, I believe it's the last Saturday in April, and this is going to be our inaugural launch of this, and we're just basically going to see how many people we can get in our community and beyond to set world records on that date. So you'll be hearing more about that project very soon.
And since that famous quote, I don't remember which paper it came from, but it was just like records to Guinness is to records is the Wikipedia. RecordSetter.com's always been compared to the Wikipedia of Guinness, I guess I would say. And what people don't realize is that all my successes, for example, my to be featured in the upcoming hardcover Guinness book, and even my latest invitation by Guinness to fly out to Italy has all started with RecordSetter. It was Ripley's found me on RecordSetter. It's so I don't think and I'm quite sure it's the same for Brian Pankey, who's been on quite a few talk shows already, including his video being featured on Tosh.0, is that these and Book of Extreme Facts. I mean, these people are following RecordSetter like it is the Wikipedia of records. They're looking for those people with those strange or esoteric or out there talents or phenomenal talents. And the first place they seem to be going is RecordSetter, because, like you said, this is anybody can submit to RecordSetter and pretty much do their thing. So I really want to make it clear that people can that RecordSetter definitely has opportunity out there for peoples.
Yeah, we again have this belief that everybody can be the world's best, and so we love seeing people get involved, and it's definitely a thrill to kind of to watch people begin as up and coming stars within our own community, and then get opportunities that extend beyond that. Like I watched your appearance. I know you were just on City TV in Edmonton, and that was fantastic to watch. And and it's exciting to see these to see all these people have their talents recognized first by RecordSetter and then beyond. We like I say, we're a small team, but we just love world records, and we are doing everything we can to just continue making the platform stronger and more, just provide our community with the tools and features that they want, and hopefully we'll eventually get into the space of television and give those kinds of opportunities Yeah, it's you know, I feel very fortunate to be able to be building what we're doing right now.
And you know, I'm aware that you have you have the blog, and of course you have the primary feature on the home site, plus with the editor picks. And I think a lot of mystery surrounds is how do they choose what they feel should be an editor pick? How do they choose a record that should be in a feature? Because sometimes, you know, people will feel like, oh man, my record was so much harder than this guy's record, but this guy got featured. So can you tell me what goes through the minds of those people that, you know, say, yeah, let's feature this record for the week?
Sure. Yeah, it's not. I mean, there's no magic formula to it. I think you know, I would say there are a few areas that we would want to recognize. One is, you know, first and foremost, is it impressive? So if it's just an extraordinary record of somebody doing something amazing, then that would be the primary thing we would look at. But we'll also look at the entertainment value of it. You know, some of the records that go viral and get a lot of attention for our site might just be something that's really hilarious. Like, you know, for example, I love the record for the largest Meow rendition of Lean On Me. So that it does not necessarily take months of training, but it's just a really entertaining video, and I think dimensionalizes another side of the RecordSetter brand. We look at production quality. You know, I think, you know, we have a lot of people who will come to our site every day and just want to be entertained or impressed. And so, you know, sometimes we'll get a video that comes in and it's just a super amazing achievement, but, you know, that they take 15 minutes to set it up, and we just think, like, man, if this video was edited a little more tightly, or just you know, had a little bit more shine to it, then it would be so much easier for us to focus on it. All that said, we just launched, I don't know if you noticed this on the weekend, but we're just kind of testing a feature right now which allows users to vote on records that they think are the most impressive and most awesome. And our long-term vision is that we would be able to empower the community to essentially choose which record they're focused on.
Yeah, I saw that that beta vote on feature on the site, and what I was curious about was is those records to vote on, are they the most current collection of what's been achieved? Are they all straight from the editor's picks? Are they like
there is what you would call like a raw feed. I forget if that's the primary tab, but you can jump over and see the records submitted based on the newest ones. So it is basically a space where you can go and see all the new records that are coming in and vote on the ones that you think are most impressive. And then over time, the records, I think the algorithm is built on the number of awesomes, like number of times pressing the awesome button within the last 2-week period. So we're making sure it's a balance of, you know, newer records, and then also you know, things that are already starting to get some support and love from people who've watched them.
And secondly, it's you know, I've always been slightly concerned about the much older records, the records that first came out when RecordSetter came in, because I don't believe I've joined RecordSetter until it was at least in effect for a year already, and there was already a database there. And
sure.
So are you guys looking at some type of say like random rotation, like this record was set way back in 1999 or whatever, like, so that it can be still challenged, like, so people can still be made aware of it?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think kind of in the big picture, and these are the kinds of challenges that we work on a daily basis. Is how do we make it as easy as possible for people to discover the records that are most interesting to them. So, if I come to the site and I'm into push-ups, right, where do I go to make sure that I can find the records that are of interest to me? So, part of that is improving our search engine, so that if you type something into the search box, you're making sure that it's finding the most relevant information. And then we're also starting to categorize records a little bit more, so there will be higher level buckets. So if you're into, let's say exercise-related world records, it will be easy for you to go into that realm, or video game world records, or skateboard world records, so that we're trying to continue to build tools that will allow you to find most interesting.
Categories, just like Guinness does, where you would have like strength and stamina records and academically inclined records, right? And
sure, something like that, right?
Yeah, because
and right now, I mean that all that stuff exists, and we're using the tags that people put on the records as a way to create our search algorithms. So, if you bring up an exercise record, it will show related records, and if the system is working, it should show you records that are hopefully interesting and relevant to you.
And if a person doesn't implement their own tags, are those tags implemented by someone of your team after the fact, or? Yeah. Our moderators will look at the tags and add to them or delete them. All with the best intention of just trying to make sure the records go into the most relevant places on the site. And now let's. I know RecordSetter has a philosophy, and this philosophy is based on. Correct me if I'm wrong, number 1, don't hurt yourself, number 2, don't hurt the environment, and number 3, don't hurt others, right? So, I mean, the kind of record you would definitely not want, for example, would be, most stores robbed in a week or something like this, right? Because, I mean, that would obviously be hurting a lot of people, so it's built on a real safe platform. I remember when you sent me the email about my most one arm on the steak knife. I refrained off that record out of respect for you and that, and I just left it at my 4, and I said, well, okay, but there's I had mentioned there's also this guy who has the record for the fastest time to eat a light bulb, and then there's this other guy who swallowed a sword and simultaneously does sideways somersaults, and
the question is how do we find the line that is that gives people the opportunity to push limits in all kinds of ways, but also avoids any kind of dangerous catastrophes.
And what are your current thoughts on that?
This is one of the most interesting challenges that we face as the site continues to evolve, and as we get more, a broader range of world records. And also our spirit is open, right? So we want to, much like Wikipedia, like we want to, we want to just give people the tools to build this thing and to not get too involved in the decision making of, well, should this be a recognized world record category versus that one. It is a hard line to create. I mean, I think what we're starting to do with records that we have concerns about evolving into competitive categories is we're removing the beat this record button from it. We're also putting warnings on records that we see danger with, and suggesting that you should only be a trained professional in that particular field to attempt this record. So, for example, sword swallowing, we have a bunch of records from a guy named Dan Meyer, who's a professional sword swallower, and we want to create a space where he can show off his, the limits of his sword swallowing, but we don't want a kid at home to watch that video and try and beat the record themselves. So, I mean, this is a discussion that we'd love to have with our community, and maybe we need to create a forum and hear a variety of people's thoughts. I mean, I think perhaps there's some kind of a board that needs to be created that would be a mixture of people in our community and people at our site that can look at records and try and make these decisions case by case as they arise. But first and foremost to me is making sure that everybody stays safe on our site, and it is a tough question. It's one of those things that keeps me up at night.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. I mean, I can tell you that, like, I won't be going for the fastest time to eat a light bulb or sword swallowing, because those records to me are like completely out of my knowledge and any expertise I have. Like, that's just totally alien to me. It's that's just I'd be too scared to try those. I have no idea what a light bulb would do inside my intestinal tract, and I'd rather not find out.
I feel the same. I would agree with you. I feel the same way.
As
I would like to. I will talk to Emily, our community manager, and we'll set up some kind of a space. Maybe we'll create something in our forum section, and then we'll announce it in the newsletter, and we'll put it on Facebook, because I do think it's an important issue. And again, the last thing that I want to do is put limits on people's achievements and on their creativity, and we want to build something that is as open as it can be, and we just have to figure out how we can create a system just to ensure that safety is part of it.
And it's also going way back in our conversation there about the last third, my personal favorite record, it just makes me laugh every time I think about it, and I did mention it to Charles Savizio, who's got like the world record for the most push-ups in one day, in 24 hours, is the most push-ups with marshmallows on your back, with 5 marshmallows on your back. And every time I look at the video, every time I even think of it, I just crack out laughing. And
yeah, that's hilarious.
And I have to say, this is I really do love some of these more sillier off-the-wall records. I did try to go for the most push-ups with marshmallows on your back, but of course the damn marshmallows kept falling off my back, right? So I had to start over and over and over again, and even Charles had a big laugh off this. I guess this is going into the ending here would be criteria. And one thing I really do like about RecordSetter is that you can create your own criteria. So for like Flavio, for example, he's got records that are like 60 years and over, and 70 years and over. This is age-based criteria, or criteria for like men and another criteria for women. And this is one of the things that fascinates me, is that people can create their own criteria for their records, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, this is one of these kind of high-level issues that we discuss in our office quite frequently. Do we just continue to keep things as open as possible? And if you want to set a record for most push-ups with four marshmallows on your back, and then 3 marshmallows on your back, and then most with 5 mini marshmallows on your back, and then most with 5 marshmallows on your back while wearing a cowboy hat. I mean, the number of variables that you could add to something is infinite. You could just continue to make up new categories, and so and I'm a little bit torn on it. Part of me just says, we want to encourage creativity, and some people like to create these world records that have 18 variables and will never in a million years be touched by anybody else. Most times, longest time to spin a basketball and finger while wearing a 6-foot-long fake mustache is a record that we have on our site, and I love that we have records that go that far out. But or at some point are we going to say, like, okay, there's a community of people who love doing competitive push-ups, and step one is we need to give you guys the tools to start discussdiscussing and creating push-up criteria that's fair across the board and consistent across the board. So do your elbows have to be bent 45 degrees? Can they be bent 50 degrees? How long between each push-up? So do we start creating higher level rules in categories, or do we just keep it completely open and let each individual record have its own set of criteria?
And I guess this one thing I'm sort of wondering about is, are there any records on the site that are that concern you the most, or you just don't really, you're just not too fond of them, or you just don't like them, not because they're out of your interest, but I mean just because there's something not quite right with them? Like I know there was once a record for the most eyes lost at the Burning Man Festival.
Oh yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I would not want to be the person to break this record. So that would have to be mine.
I think yes, I would agree that is not a record that I would hold up with high esteem. And and I do think that as our site has evolved the last couple of years, I think that we've got to understand, when we launched the site, we didn't even give you the ability to create your own rules for the record. So, we look at what we're building as a work in progress, and, and we're learning, and we're, making mistakes, and we have a strong vision of where we want to be, but it takes a long time to get there, and it's a complicated project to figure out. So, I think we just continue to improve and try and create an atmosphere that just encourages the kind of content that we think is what's the best.
And
again, my what makes me happy is just giving people tools to raise the bar of human achievement in a positive manner. And so that's if records fall out of that, and then that's when I start to get bummed.
Yeah, and can you tell us anything about if there's any estimates on how many copies of the first book has been sold, or when you're planning to launch the new book? I don't know the answer to the first question. We haven't really heard those numbers, and
But I think, I think it's getting out there and doing really well. So we're excited to have it out. The second book, I think, I don't have a date for you yet, but it will be coming, and I guarantee that a gentleman by the name of Darryl Learie will be recognized.
I greatly appreciate that. I'll let him know. He's a fantastic looking man. I say that jokingly, of course.
Awesome.
I understand you're quite busy, Dan, and I so much appreciate your time on this. As you know, I've also interviewed like 7 other Guinness push-up record holders. You know, and I have another interview coming out on Alicia Weber too. So
awesome! I look forward to listening to it. Well, yeah, it's I know we've emailed for a while, so it's a great pleasure to finally chat with you in person, and I look forward to seeing the other records that you'll submit to us, and hope we can meet in person someday soon.
Yes, we'll have to do that. Have yourself a very good day, and thank you. Dan Rollman is the man.
Stay warm in Edmonton.
Yes, this is my next goal in mind for sure. Okay, thank you, Dan.
Okay.
Take care of yourself.
Take care. Cheers.
Cheers. Bye.